Welcome back everyone. Today we're diving into one of the most intense rebuilds yet, Girona FC. They're currently sitting 13th in the Liga, and with 4 losses in their last 5 games, things are starting to look quite grim. But fear not, because we're here for one simple mission, to turn them into Spanish League winners. This rebuild will not stop until we're holding that La Liga trophy high above our heads, so buckle up because we're in for one big ride filled with drama, transfers, and hopefully some glory. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, but if you do enjoy live streams, come on over to Josh Taylor, my main channel. We're rebuilding United live, so you can see my tactics, my sign-ins live. I'll see you there, but let's focus on Girona. So then, this is going to be Girona inside of the game. Now, one thing I have done with this rebuild that's a bit different is I have gone and instantly done one season, because this project is going to take quite a fair bit of time. Now, as an actual club, we can go and see they haven't got much success going for them, but they are a team that has got a lot of attention as of recently because of previous managers like Miguel, people like that, very, very good managers, and of course, the links to Man City, etc, etc. Now, they have got some decent players. We are going to show you the tactic very shortly. In the first season, as you can see in that bottom left right there, we actually do finish 3rd in the league, so the tactic absolutely cooked. We've got Champions League football for our first official or second technical season, technically the second season. The Spanish Cup went okay. I mean, we do lose in the quarterfinals. We're only going to lose by 1 against Barcelona, and it never really was the main focus. The focus was to do one sort of test season, just to learn about the club, learn about the players, see how the players are, what players need to go, what players need to stay. And to be honest with you, I'm actually going to take that, because we're nowhere near challenging for the title. Madrid have 100 points, but we were very close to behind Barcelona, 3 points, a very, very strong season, and we are using the Girona way tactic, which is going to be a 4-3-3 tactic. I saw a comment the other day questioning about the tactics I use in terms of maybe being a little bit too meta. I'm a tactic guy. It's what sort of put me here. So we are going to use my tactics. Some of them are absolutely broken, and I will try and switch it up in future videos. But realistically, in real football, most teams use a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. But I will switch it up. If anyone's got any wild ideas, leave a comment below. And if you are interested in getting this rebuild file at any time, or this tactic, which absolutely cooks, you can go over to the Patreon and get all of these perks. And also, you get all of my tactics on console, on mobile, all of my rebuilds. We're getting close to 5.2k members over there, so make sure you do head on over. It would mean the absolute world. But let's go through this team now. On paper, the big issue we've got, to be honest with you, is we don't really have a striker that screams out necessarily goals alongside other than Stuani, who's 37. Now, I don't want to disrespect the guy when I say we haven't got him, because we did have him and he scored 28 goals, but he is 37. It is probably his last season, so we now have got a big space in the team when it comes to goals. Brian Gill, I'm actually going to try and get, because he's semi-decent, 11 and 12, a very, very good first season. As you can see, pretty decent stats return, so I'm not going to complain. Asprilla is a serious baller. Back in the day at Watford, if you remember him, a serious player who's still only 20. He's not as good as what he was at Watford, but he will do the job for now. Now, in goal, we've got Gazzaniga, a very, very good goalkeeper, very reasonable for this level at the moment. The wing-backs, Gutierrez is one of my favourite left-backs in Football Manager, so we're going to be fine with him. He is absolutely incredible, and also very, very young. 22 years of age, completely fine. We've got average centre-backs, we've got a decent right back, I will say a batch of them. We've got the likes of Frances, who's okay. He doesn't really light up the stats, but I believe we've signed him before. And if we actually go down, we've also got the likes of Valerie, who unfortunately is out on loan. Now, for a backup, he would have been ideal for this first season, but he is going to come back and hopefully get some game time. We also have got the likes of Romeo, who didn't do that well, Dan Juma, who done okay, but realistically, Donny van de Beek had a decent season. That's really nice to see. You can't really hate this guy, of course, after a dodgy move to Manchester United, really. But a very well-rounded midfield player, still only 27, and to give him credit, putting up some pretty good stats. So, I mean, for a first season, we've got a good foundation. We've learned what we can do. We've learned what our weaknesses are, and I would probably say we've got quite a fair few weaknesses to iron out. Now, I don't know if it's going to take me 5 seasons, 10 seasons, however many seasons, but we're not going to stop until we win the league. Now, in terms of money, we are limited. We've got £13 million, and this is where it's going to get tough, because despite being a club with not exactly loads of debt, they're not a rich club in terms of giving out massive budgets. Now, that will slow down the progress of the rebuild, because if we go to the club info, Their youth recruitment is semi-okay. The youth facilities are good, but I feel like this might take a long time to actually sort of rebuild the squad, if that makes sense. So let's go over to the second season. After what has to be said, a very good entry season, knowledge has been gained. Let's do it. So then the first player we actually do bring in is going to be Brian Gill. We are going to bring him on the permanent. He cost me 25 million, so quite a fair bit of money. But when you're in this sort of level of football, you can't always attract the world beaters, and I do believe he can actually be quite a good player. 7 goals and 14 assists is a great return in his first official season as a Girona full-time player, not on loan. He's actually quite good. Now, a lot of people banter him because of his time at Tottenham, but he actually has got quite a lot to offer, and he's still only 24. Same can be said about his time at Tottenham with Dan Juma, of course, also the previous Bournemouth man, Villarreal man. He is on the older side, but only cost me 12 million. He's not exactly set in the league alight, but when you've got such a small budget, it's very frustrating because you can't go and sign these wonder kids. You can't go and sign the best players. You've got to settle. And what makes it even worse is we would have had more money, but unfortunately, the money which gets raised by a transfer that I didn't agree, but the player wanted and the board wanted, is going to be Martinez, our right back. He is going to go to PSG for a grand total of 23 million. He only played 4 games for us in this season and then left. And obviously, I was already through the sim, so we didn't spend that money. So we are technically at quite a disadvantage when it comes to the back line. Our winger situation is somewhat stable, but because we had these 2 previously last season, we're actually quite a fair few players down, and that makes me worry quite a bit where we're going to be in the league. I'm going to start off with the Champions League because I'm actually quite happy because we've got all the way to the quarterfinals in a league, or in a sort of season, sorry, where we haven't really got the team to do it. This is our first real shot at the Champions League, and we've actually obviously got through the round of 16. We're going to beat Salzburg, probably the easier team you could have got. The league phase, we actually do very well. 5 wins, we're beating teams like Inter, Bayern, Bologna, drawing against Dortmund, and the 1 loss there against Tottenham. So I think for a first season, that's good. Spanish Super Cup, we are going to fall to Barcelona, but again, it's only by a 1-goal margin, so it's nice to see we're not getting completely blitzed. And we got all the way to the final, and again, lose to Barcelona by, again, a 1-goal deficit. So a very strong performance. Did we beat a big boy? We beat Atletico Madrid, so we are beating fairly big teams, which is good to see. And going over in terms of the league, it is going to be another 3rd place finish. Now, Stuani did stay for another season at 38, and he did score 30 goals. So we've got to give this guy his flowers because this guy is genuinely something special at the age of 38. Donny van der Beek, the 2nd most assists. Victor coming in 3rd place. He's going to be sort of our backup winger. I would actually probably say our star winger, 18 and 15, a great set of stats from him, which I am not against. I've signed 2 wingers to be the main boys. If they're not cutting it, Victor can come in. Gazzaniga again, 16 clean sheets, a very good return. He is also a man that is getting old. Not too bad for a goalkeeper, but for season 2, it's okay. No trophies won so far, but very, very consistent in the league. Back-to-back 3rd places. I'm going to say a good run in the Champions League, a decent run in the Super Cup, and a very good run in that Spanish Cup. Now, this is where we see this is the issue, because we have now got a total of 23 million, and that might sound a lot to people that are playing in the National League or something, but when you have got players that want bigger contracts because you're having good seasons, you've got to spend money doing that, and then you're trying to improve the team as well. And we know modern football, 20 million gets you essentially a packet of crisps. In modern football, you get hardly anything, and I mean, we've lost a star right back, for example, as well, so I was expecting to have more 35 million, maybe 40, because we literally profited 20 odd million before the money they even inject into the budget. So it's a little bit annoying, but we will crack on. And as you can see, the other issue is still going to be the likes of Stuani, because he's with us for now, but he's 38. He's going to retire at some point, and I've got a feeling if it's not right towards now, it will be definitely at the end of next season. What is nice to see is Gill contribute 13 and 15, the right winger coming in with 22 and 25, Donny van der Beek enjoying a very good season with 10 and 26, the wing backs are both contributing nearly 10 assists each, very good to see. Jean-Pay, 8 goals from set pieces. Make sure you go over and get them because they're clearly broken. That's 10 goals alone from 2 centre-backs. Of course, we also have Daley Blind. How can I not talk about him? A previous United man as well. But I mean, Danjuma, he's a backup winger, but 6 and 4. Stuani done great. Porto used to be really good in Football Manager, but he is getting on the older side now and doesn't really contribute too much. So there are players coming into the team, but I am also being sensible because we only get 70% of the actual money that comes in for these players. And to be honest, we're not going to raise that much money out of anyone. If we actually go over and look at our highest value players, they're players that we purely wouldn't want to offload. Donny van der Beek, there is a slight bit of temptation because he is 28, and if we get paid £60 million, you would obviously take it. Gutierrez, I would not even take 50 because he's one of the best left backs in the game. Gil, I would probably take about 40 to 50 as long as there's profit. Other than that, we're going down into the low millions. We're only getting 70%. We may as well use what we've got and improve as we go along. So we are now going to get into the 3rd season with a 3rd transfer window, obviously, is the main topic. And we're going to aim to try and make a little bit of progression. And I think sensible progression would be to try and pick up one of these Spanish Cups. So Q Season 3. And one is going to be a player for the future. It is going to be Kovar. Now, I will say he might not get into the team in the 1st season, although I can see he clearly did. He played pretty much every game. In fact, every game, kept 17 clean sheets. So he has come in and said, look, Gazzaniga, you just step to one side, okay? I'm the main man right now. And you know what? I'm not against it. He was brought in for the future. If he is ready now, he can play now. Here on the 3 that I'm excited to have is going to be Shaparenko. I am saying that right. He's going to come in from Dynamo Kiev on the 3. He plays a ton of games, 10 assists, 4 goals. Obviously a bit of Ukrainian company for the right winger as well, which is something of the team to build up the cohesion, build up the positivity. We need to make people comfortable at the club. And I will go over and say he's actually a really good player. 16 passing, great free kicks, great vision, and a player that I've not heard of him, and I wouldn't usually sign, but on the 3 with a limited budget, you've got to get a little bit money savvy. Spent money is going to be Eduardo Quaresma. He comes in from Sporting, or the Sporting second team, for £7.7 million. It's an average 1st season, but again, he's done the job. He's got tons of years to grow. He's already a decent player, and the potential is looking pretty good. And yes, I did lock him in because he needs to really hit the ground running. The same can be said for this player. Now, he currently is a leading 2nd division player, so the ability doesn't match the stats because he's picking up, 28 goal contributions in one season over goals and assists. Now, his stats don't exactly set light to anything, okay, in terms of the attributes, should I say, but he's a cheap player who's young with tons of potential. And once again, our window cost us 17 million, then 13 million. So we're spending pennies and hopefully going to generate some good players. Well, it is going to be another exit in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and I'm still not annoyed because we do get a little bit blitzed against United, but we are actually still going over and beating some decent teams. For example, Marseille's not an easy team, a 3-2 win there, and the league phase, we only lose 1 game against Arsenal, a draw against Madrid, and we're beating teams like Porto, Fenerbahce, Shakhtar, some pretty decent teams around us. So do you know what? The Champions League so far, I'll accept. It's going to be another final appearance in the Spanish Cup and another loss to Barcelona and another game by a 1-goal deficit. We need to try and get this done. It's going to be the same situation in the Spanish Super Cup. Another exit in the semi-finals. It is against Madrid, and we did take them all the way to the edge. But again, we're only losing by 1 goal. It's minor changes that we need. For the league, don't worry, I've not gone crazy. It is definitely correct. That is 3 seasons finishing 3rd. Probably the most consistent rebuild I have ever done in terms of the same league finish. Now, what is worrying is Stuani's not on here, so I think he may have retired, which is fair game, I will say. Other than that, Kovar is going to come in, 2nd most clean sheets, and the player who we did sign, the youngster, is going to pick up the 2nd most amount of assists. So a very good return for that, but realistically, it's the same season. 3rd place, runner-up, semi-final, quarter-final. There's no real growth, but I guess for now, consistency is fine. But as it stands, we're 20 points off winning the league if we use this table as an example. Now, going over to the money, we have got a budget of £16 million. So, if we're lucky, we'll get 1 player, to be honest with you, unless there's any good freebies on the market. And looking at the team, Stuani did play a lot of games, 28 goals, but he is sadly retiring. But let's just see what Stuani has done. 28, 30, 18. He has been an absolute bagsman, and what I will say is it is going to be a big loss. Now, I don't usually say that for a player that is 39, but he has carried our goals by quite a fair bit. Danjuma enjoyed a good season with 12 and 6. The right winger come in with 12 and 12, 12 and 12, 20 and 12, 5 and 10 coming in for the new man in DM, which is box to box, should I say. I personally do like him in deep line playmaker, but when you filter by the best 11, he does go box to box. Donny van der Beek enjoyed actually quite an average season. I will call him out for it. Compare that to last season, what's happened for him? Not the same man in the shirt, clearly. 4 assists from Frances at right back, a bit of a drop-off. Gutierrez around the same sort of level. 2 goals coming in there for a backup. 4 and 2 for Abel Ruiz. This will be the man stepping in if we don't sign a striker. And I don't know if he is going to get the job done. He doesn't scream league title, does he? Let's just be realistic. So it's going to be a big step. Valerie's not really playing many games, which is to be expected, but for a backup is completely fine for the right back role. Brian Gill, 4 and 8, it's okay. 2 goals for a Sprilla. 18 and 22 for the new man who was locked in for a season. That is a significant return and a player that will be part of the future. Herrera, backup DM, 28 years of age. He chipped in here or there. The team's okay, and I think if I was to sum up how the rebuild's going so far, I'd probably use the words okay. But if you are enjoying, please do leave a like and subscribe. It's completely free, and whack that wonderful bell on. And if you do enjoy live streams, Josh Daly, the main channel, we're there almost every day. Now, I will say, we want to start making progression, and it is incredibly frustrating when you've been given 16 million because you feel like you're being limited, but if that's all they're giving me, that's all they're giving me. Let's go into Season 4, and let's just hope there's some free agents. Firstly, it's going to be an outgo, and one of our young players have been poached by Ajax almost instantly. He only played 2 games for the second team of Girona, and as you can see, he goes for 6 million, so I feel Ajax know what they're doing with young players. We may have lost a gem. We're going to welcome in Lucas Piton. He's going to come in from VDG for a total of 6.5 million. Again, not a real herd of left back, but an affordable left back, and he's done quite well. 32 appearances, 7 assists, a good average rating, a very good player to have in the team. Only 26, he is quick, he can cross, and he can defend. I've just described a great left back. The next 2 signings are from affiliated teams, so I think we got a bit of a deal going on because we are going to pick up Thales Mango. Mango, I always say it, Magno, it's a joke with the stream, Magno, not Mango. He comes in for £5 million, and I tell you what, he's returned very well. 12 goals, 7 assists, 5 player of the matches, and above a 7 average rating. The guy's actually a really good player to have. Can play on the left, on the right, up front, through the middle. He's quick, got the dribbling, composure's there. The technique's there, the flair's there, the passing's there. For that price tag and that wage, you don't find much better. For 15 million, a bit more of an expensive player coming in from Man City is going to be Maximo Perrone. Now, he is going to be with us for quite some time. Hopefully, he can one day win a Spanish title with him. Now, he does okay in his first season. It's not exactly ecstatic, but it's a decent entry to the season. And he sums up a perfect deep lying playmaker. He's got the passing, he's got the technique, he's got the vision. He can sit deep and play the balls over the top. And with the addition of Magno, Perrone, and also Piton, and only losing 1 player that, let's face it, wouldn't even been in the main team yet, I think we have strengthened. So I'm going to be honest, I'm expecting to do at least better either in one of the competitions or the league. Don't think you're not going insane, okay? Because that is now going to be, and I will show you to prove it, it is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons of back-to-back 3rd places. The most consistent time I've ever had in a Football Manager save. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I will say the only players that we can really give credit to is going to be Victor. I'm not giving Gutierrez credit for yellow cards. So it is going to be Victor, the man who I called a backup winger, and I shouldn't have done because he's absolutely incredible. He's the only real player that I can give many props to. And I tell you what, it's not going to get much better because when I show things all in one batch, you know it's not going to be good. And it's not good. Look at this. We're going to fall off in every competition. We're going to get knocked out in the playoff round against Bayern, which is fine. They're a big team. But if we go and look at the league phase right now, look how low down we are. We've been in the top 8 every season we're in the Champions League. That is not acceptable. We're going to lose 5 games And they are big teams, but it's no excuse. No excuse at all. We're going to get pushed back to the semis of the Spanish Cup, a 4-0 battering over 2 legs against Madrid, and semi-finals we are going to lose to Madrid again. So yes, they're tough games, but we are not getting anywhere, and I do believe, genuinely, we need more money put into the club. We need to actually go out and sign big players. Now, this window, for example, we had, wasn't even bad. We got good players through the door, but we still need to build this squad up, and I feel we're doing it at quite a slow rate, to the point of by the time when this player peaks, for example, we're then going to hardly have had anyone else come in to sort of partner him, and he's going to get too old and he becomes useless. So we do need a little bit of funding. Now, in terms of money, we've been given 11 million, so they're not listening to me quite clearly. The debts and loans, we have got a little bit of debt now, and at the end of the day, if they keep giving me these low budgets, I'll keep using installments. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. You need a little bit of money in football to try and achieve something that we're trying to do. So let's just see how the team done. These are the players I locked in, and apart from Perone, none of them exactly lit the league alight, to be honest. We have got a big goal drought now because Stuani's gone, which is a big issue. To be fair, the right wings never let me down. Magno's come in and done a very good job. The DM, or the DLP, that obviously we got on the free from last year, come in with 2 and 10. It's an okay return, 16 and 4 for Donny. Big improvement from last year. Herrera, decent, it's okay. Brian Gill 3, Danjuma 2. We want to see a big improvement for these players, and sometimes the best thing to do is to bring in better players to sort of light a fire under them. So let's just go and see what we can do with 11.1 million. I'm going to say it right now, this might be the hardest rebuild I've done this year. I mean, we had no money, so we're only going to sign free agents, and the best free agent on the market by quite a distance was going to be, or is going to be, Dwight McNeil. Now, the thing that I will say is, we may have saved ourselves with money, because if we get an offer anywhere near this, he's going to be out the door quicker than anything, because that will be pure profit. He comes in and he does have a good season. I will give him credit where it's due, but realistically, this is a signing that's done on the business side. I'll be real. Same will be said for Eze again. He's 29 years of age. He comes in on the free. He again enjoys a pretty decent season. 8 goals, 9 assists. But if we touch even 40 million, he is going to be gone. And I think that's going to be the only way we actually get money into the club, because the money's not being injected. We might need to sign free or sign cheap and sell big. And I'm fine with that. If that's what it comes down to, that's what we're going to do. I've also gone over to the effort to loan out every single player that doesn't really get much game time, purely in hope to raise their value and then sell them next season. So again, we're thinking up here to try and raise a little bit of cash flow, but realistically, they're 2 decent players, but are they going to push me from 3rd to 1st? I don't know. Seriously, stop panicking. That is now going to be another finish in 3rd place, and I will keep showing it. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons in the same place. I'm actually getting a bit sick of it. I almost would be happy to finish in 4th, just to switch things up. And in terms of player stats, apart from Kovar, who, by the way, has been a very good goalkeeper, we have got nothing positive going on for us. We've got no top goal scorers, no assisters. This has not been a great season, with 14 draws. There's a goal drought, and it's serious. We do progress back into the round of 16, at least, to the Champions League, and we lose 5-2 against AC Milan. How do we do in the league phase? Back up into the top 8, that's good, and we are managing to beat teams. We should be beating them teams anyway. Draws against AC and Marseille, and a loss against Inter. I mean, it's okay, but it's nothing like remarkable. The rest of the cups, they don't improve. We actually do worse. Quarterfinals in the Spanish Cup, we are going to lose to Atletico Madrid in extra time. That's a little bit unfortunate, because we could have got any of these 5 teams. Granada, Vallecano, Zaragoza, Valencia, Sevilla. We could have beaten any of them, I genuinely believe. Then we could have matched up against Atletico or Barca in a final. You get to a final, anything can happen. The semi-finals, again, another exit, and by another 1-goal deficit. It is getting quite frustrating now, and I love doing my rebuilds, but I'm comfortably going to say this is my hardest rebuild yet, because you don't get anything to play with. There's nothing in the under-21s. There's nothing coming through the youth. It is as dry as a desert. There is nothing. So it is very difficult, but it also makes it quite fun. Now, in terms of money, we've actually got a lot more than last year. We've got 19 million, so nearly another 10 million pounds, or 9 million pounds. Now, the debts and loans are practically clear, so we are clear to spend again. Of course, last season, we spent nothing. Complete free signing. So we are going to go over and improve this team, as again, the locked-in players don't really offer too much. Now, I'm not going to sit here and sound like a broken record. You know what the issue is, so do I. There's a goal drought, and there's a serious goal drought. Abel Ruiz makes up for it a little bit with 21 and 5, McNeil 13 and 11, the right winger 10 and 12, Eze had a very good season, 14 and 12, Herrera 7 and 5, Gutierrez a diabolical season, not going to sugarcoat it, not a great season, and the bench was ridiculously quiet. So we've got an issue at the club right now because we're not improving quick enough, and this might be a 20-season job at this rate. So we're going to be sensible, really take time looking at the next batch of players that come into the club, because realistically, we are going to have a load of people coming back who hopefully we can also sell to try and increase the money at the club. But as it stands, that seems like a miracle. Right, so the first player we're going to bring in is going to be Aidan. He is going to come in from Manchester United on loan, and he has already come back from that loan and already joined Borussia Dortmund. So he was definitely a one-striker man. He instantly come back and said, I ain't staying there. He goes to Dortmund, and it's a shame because he actually scores 18 goals in the league alone. So it was a simple loan move, but don't get too attached because he's already gone. A player that hopefully won't go because he looks like a monster is going to be Edmund Beidou, not Samson. A very good player, and I tell you what, coming in from Salzburg for 11 million, it's not the most electric season in terms of stats, I will give you that, but if you look at the attributes, he has got the pace, the agility, the technique, the crossing, the dribbling, he can play on either wing, and he's 23. I genuinely believe this guy could be one for the future, but it's a bit of a disappointing window, I'll just show you that right now, because we've had to loan out a bunch of more people. No one even got sold from the last batch because no one wanted them, so that's not ideal. And we've technically only signed one player for the guaranteed future, as Aidan is instantly going to be joining Borussia Dortmund. So this window, I'm harsh on myself with tactics, I'll be harsh on myself with rebuilds. This was awful. And then starting off with that Spanish Cup, we are going to go out in the quarters, and again by a 1-goal deficit, and again by Real Madrid. We're having a great time. The Champions League, there's going to be no progression. We are going to go out in the round of 16 against Liverpool. It's only by 1 goal. How do we do in the league phase? We are down in 16th, so we would have got into the knockout playoff round, and we beat Ajax, to be fair, but that, again, I can't celebrate it, and I'm just going to say this now, because some of you are probably thinking you are genuinely going a little bit insane, and so am I, because guess where we finished, guys? 3rd place again in the league, so that is now 6 seasons back-to-back of 3rd places. The big bonus is we have got a player that was ours in the top goal scorers behind Mbappe, but of course he's going to Dortmund, so the only player that's ours now is going to be Kovar, who I feel sorry for him because he has been so good at keeping clean sheets and he's winning nothing. It is a very, very challenging time at Girona. The only positive is that the owners have put money into the budget and we have got 38 million. But even that, I don't know if we can sort of go from 3rd to 1st with one window of 40 million. The debts are completely fine, so we are going to go ahead and spend it. But once again, we look at the homepage. 3rd best at scoring, the best defensively. So the back line is very strong. We just need to try and get a few more goals going forward. And I think we can be competitive, as we do see Beidou there with 9 and 13, Perone with 3 and 6, 5 from Quaresma from centre-back, so a good, better season from him. Again, I'm not even going to discuss this man because he's betrayed me. He didn't even let me have a chance to sign him. He come back and instantly said, you know what? I don't like this team. I'm going to Dortmund, so we're not even going to address him. In fact, can he just please remove himself from the team? I'm not going to talk about him. McNeil 15 and 10, Beidou a great season, Eze a great season. He is really taken to this league well. Other than that, apart from Herrera and a couple of goals from Ruiz and also Magno, it's looking pretty tame. So we are going to go and look to strengthen the attack. And to be fair, considering what we have had in the past, 40 million feels like about £1 billion. So let's go and see what we can do. If you are still watching, firstly, a big thank you. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe because we're currently undergoing one big rebuild. We're not messing about. Now, I was not going to sign a centre-back because our backline is actually completely fine, apparently. But when you get LaCroix on the free, a £58 million man, you have to pick him up. And he does get in the first team, clearly, scores 6 goals and drops a 7.18. He is now 30, he was 29, but he's still got the pace, the mental stats and the tackling stat that I really want. He's our best centre-back, and I'm hoping he can just win us one of the Spanish Cups. Just push me over the line a little bit. I'm going to go and sign a man who is almost on the free, but he wasn't quite on the free, so we do spend 4.4k. He's a backup striker. He was meant for first team, but he's not been good enough to even do that. With 5 goals and 2 assists, and dropped a 6.94. I mean, he's chipped in, but chipped in very little. But for 4.4k, for business as good, I think after this season, we're going to go through the team and maybe cash in on a couple because we need some money, seriously. I'm going to go over and sign a midfield player to help us sort of in the attacking side. That is going to be Figueiredo, I believe I said that right, coming in from Sep, obviously from Brazil, Palmeiras I believe, 8 goals, 11 assists and drops a 7.11, so a great return, still only 24, and he cost me £13 million. Where he really thrives is the technical and the mental attributes, which is something a little bit different from the rest of our team, so I thought it was quite smart to do so. Lastly, again, I wasn't going to sign a defender, I really wasn't going to, but when you get an opportunity to sign a wonder kid who's this good for a total of 12 million, who comes in and just drops a great rating, and that's how I know he's going to be good, because he's only 20, it's his first time in the Spanish league, he held his own, he's very, very solid at right back, and it just is a guaranteed consistent option. Now, I will say, we've gone out on the loans, we're getting nowhere with those. What I will say is, the window was planned well, so we've strengthened multiple areas, okay? Midfield, right back, centre back. That wasn't planned, the right back and centre back, but they sort of just spontaneously come about. We have only spent 24 million of our budget because there was no one really to bring in without just wasting money. So I'm going to see how far this takes us, and I'm hoping we can at least win a Spanish Cup, if not just finish second. I'll take second. Let's go and find out. Now, if this is anything to go by, it's not going to be promising, because we are going to be knocked out in the semis again of the Spanish Super Cup against Atletico Madrid. Again, in the Spanish Cup, and this time we are going to lose to Valencia, who might be one of the worst teams we've lost to in a while in a cup. In the Champions League, we are going to go back to being knocked out in the knockoff playoff rounds. This time, it is going to be against the likes of Arsenal. So that tells me, of course, we're down here. We only win 3 games against very reasonable teams. We're drawing against PAOK, and we're losing against Salzburg. So we don't deserve it. But miracles happen because we have won the league. We have won the league, and it is done in a season where Dwight McNeil is going to be up there with your top goal scorers. Kovar's going to be dropping down the ranks. We've got 2 players in the assists. So as soon as players start to contribute quite a fair amount in terms of stats, we get the job done. So we have actually won the league, which is a big, big statement. Now, the only annoying thing about this rebuild is the fact that apart from winning the league, every other season was 3rd place. It just annoys me a little bit. We have also failed to win any other cup apart from this, so that is going to be obviously where you come in, and sort of that's going to be your challenge. But I will say, I am probably the most happiest ever to have a rebuild done. This has been such a tough challenge, and it's quite typical actually, because the second I'm going to start leaving, you're getting consistent back-to-back budgets. So you've got 25 million to spend, you've got 0 debt, very good in terms of finances. I'm not going to lie, you've got a mixed team, you've got a team mixture of younger players and older players that you can sell. What I will say is, in terms of business, you can go in here and sell the likes of McNeil, LaCroix. I wouldn't sell the Wonder Kid because he's great. Eze you could sell. I wouldn't sell him. Wouldn't sell him. Wouldn't sell him. But I mean, you've got what? Realistically, maybe 40 million McNeil, probably 35 in LaCroix, Eze probably 25. You've got a lot of money just sat in the club, so you can also cash in. Now, if you are interested in taking on my challenge, your challenge is to win the league again and at least one of the other cups, because I couldn't do it. If you do get it done, be sure to send me a screenshot on the Patreon, because I do give out little gift cards here and there for people that do that. One person the other day completely embarrassed me because he pretty much done the challenge with no extra signing. So do you know what? fair play to you. You got the job done. But hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Come back to the main channel, Josh Daly, to check out the live streams, because we are actually doing well over there. We're rebuilding United, and I'll see you in the next one.